Okay, good afternoon, friends, everyone here who's been on a friend of Ames and a friend of the family and also professional friends. Thank you so much for spending your afternoon with us today. We truly appreciate it. We are here to launch Ames' new book. It's called In and Outcome. But I'll have a conversation with her about the book in a while. But before that, I wanted to. Sorry? Yes. I was just about to get to that, but before that, I want to introduce myself. My name is Hardish, and I'm one of the members of FinAmes, and we all work together. And of course, most of you probably know Emilia Hong here as Ames. As we spoke her company name as well, FinAmes. Now, before that, I wanted to invite Lynette to say a few words. Lynette is currently the License Director of Resolute Planning, and prior to this, she was the CEO of FPAM. For those of you not in the industry, FPAM is called the Financial Planning Association of Malaysia, and a lot of us have to go through this very tough exam to be a member of FPAM. So it is also a personal honor for me to invite her here, that I can have a very casual conversation with her now, since she's no longer the CEO of FPAM. Lynette, please. Hold on. We got to do a bit of a circus here.
Yep.
Just bear with us. This is
It's okay. Our mics are too close.
yeah. This is
Yes. You need to pass that. Musical chair.
okay.
Sorry ya, rancangan terkendala sebentar.
So I'll hold this here. Okay. This is for. Do you hold both? This is. I'll hold this.
So good afternoon, everyone. Can you all hear me from behind? Very good. I see a lot of familiar faces, and welcome today. I'm happy to be here, and thank you, Emilia, for inviting me on this auspicious day to talk about a book. But before I talk about her book, I'd like to talk about Emilia herself. I first met her when she attended a training that I did, and she was one of the few people who sat right in front, right eye, full of energy and enthusiasm. And I said, wow, this is very encouraging, because as a trainer, when you've got people who are enthusiastic looking at you, you feel very energized and inspired to do the best that you can. So thank you, Emilia. So, and after the whole thing, I remember she came up to me and she said, Lynette, I don't know whether it's going to work, but what you said to me makes sense. So for what it's worth, I'm just going to give it a go and see where it takes me. And ta-da, this is where she is now. I'm happy because it's not me who did anything, but I was just an enabler. She did all the hard work, because if she didn't take the effort to do what she does, she won't be here today. So can we give her a big hand, please? So I was looking through because when I retired from FM, I had to throw out some papers and all those things. Those testimonials from Emilia. She's looking at me now. And I think I want to read snippets from it, because I thought it was very meaningful. It gives you a glimpse of her journey when she first started in this industry. So she says, I'm going to cut out the boring part. I just read the interesting part. It says here, the new vision board gives me more clarity, and help me put my energy, attention, focus towards my goals. I realized even more how much language impacts what we want to attract in our lives. So I still believe that, and conversations I have with her in our subsequent meetings, we always make an effort to put a lot of energy and thoughts into what we say, because what we say is going to be what we get. And if it works, it works. Just try it. Don't believe us, right? So the other thing that she did was she wrote a love letter to herself. So this is back in 2011. So Amelia, are you ready to go down memory lane? It says, I am so happy that you have managed to be clear about your goals 2011. How many years is that? Long time, yeah? But you can see the results of it, right? And it says about getting to Premier Club 2011. Get an office, cultivate your consultants, seeking out friends who are gems, spending quality time with your twins and staying healthy. She's doing that now, right? Agree? For those who know her, yes? Then she says, stay focused on these goals and you will definitely reap harvest in due time. And then she quoted a song from Katy, Katy Perry. So I'm not going to sing that. Maybe later on you get her to sing it. Sing.
So cool, Katy Perry.
Yes, about ignite, light up, ignite fireworks. Yeah. So after she sing, I set her up already. And then she ended to say, be aware that he is able to do all that you ask and think. So that's why be careful of what you think, be careful of what you say, because what you say is what you get. So if you want something that you want, say the positive and you will get it. All right? So that's one part, that's her testimonial. So, and I think why I wanted to share her testimonial was because I see a lot of what she's written then. She's doing it now, and she's continued to do it, and it's brought her to where she is. So kudos to you. Congratulations. And the other thing I also wanted to say is, subsequently, it didn't stop there. We found that we had a lot of similarities, and we could get along. So subsequently, we do have meetings with each other, and each meeting that we had is so inspiring because we share ideas, we encourage each other, and a lot more things. Some of the things were, I'll leave you to your imagination. We have our evening of escapists, doing things that will develop our right brain. Because I said, doing numbers is your left brain, but the creative part is very important because that's where you solve all your clients' difficult problems. So we need to develop our right brain. So we will go out on our evenings to go and develop our right brains. And that was so fun. Life is really good. So having known her all this while, and I didn't calculate that, look at the testimony, I said, oh wow, I've known her for so long. The journey that she came, and I wanted to share, I was at her first launch, and this is her first book, the first book. I loved it because I thought it was very eco-friendly, and ESG is the hot thing now. But now it's her second book, and I'm going to compare. And for someone who is, let's say, if you all know Jimmy O Yang, the comedian.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So he talk about his parents, right? They're very typical Chinese and all that. So if they were to look at this book and say, wow, whole tire, very worthwhile, you know. Why? Because the book is number one, bigger.
Is it?
It's bigger. So whatever it is inside must be better and bigger. So it's really worthwhile. So that was one thing. The second thing is, do you like the cover of the book? Yes. I look at the cupcakes and I say, oh wow, what does it represent? It represents all of us in this room. We are all human beings. Cupcakes, but we are also different. You can see the real cupcakes here, yeah? And that's what our life is all about. So if you read a book, and I'm sure most of you have read the book, it will tell you the journey of her life and how she has helped people and the changes that comes along and how to adapt it. So this is why I said this book is really, really worth buying and also giving to friends. See you later. So, so for those who have read her first edition, please read this third edition because it's got more things, it's more emotional, and emotions are things that make us do do the things that we need to do to get a better financial life. So this is where her book will help you. So on this note, I think I'd like to congratulate her on coming up with this to help people, so that for those who may not have time to see her yet, they are able to actually use, because there are worksheets there that you can follow, and and when you get stuck, then you know who to call. Yeah. So that's why I said congratulations. These books are really timely. And then, of course, last but not least, I know you give me 15 minutes, but I told you I speak very fast and I can finish everything very fast. The other thing that I would like to wish her is all the very best, because I know she has some challenges. In her book, she writes about cancer. And I heard this person by the name of Ajahn Brahm talking about illnesses. And he says that when people hear about the illnesses that they get, the first thing they do is they say doom and gloom. But when I met Amelia, I know she has gone through those stages, but she does it in private. And what happens is there will be a time when she says, okay, this is enough already. And then she gets out of it and she says, let's move on with life. So I thought there was a very, very encouraging and a very positive way to look at life. And can we give her a big hand for getting through that? I wish I could have been more with her when it was during that time, but somehow she didn't quite tell me about it, or else I would have. Yeah, she's a very private person sometimes. I said, if you have told me, I would have been there. Because you see, this is a journey as friends. We go through the good times as well as the bad times. I'm sure all of you agree, right? So this is very important. Why? Because despite her time, after battling through all of that, she still finds energy to serve her clients, go for meetings with her team members. I see all the pictures going all over the place, and all the team members here. She spend time with y'all, nurture y'all, help y'all to grow to be the best that you can be, as well as attend all the meetings that principal and events that principal organize. I don't know how she find the energy. Seriously, I think, and also not forgetting all her personal, spending time with her twins who have grown up already. When I first saw them, they were tiny tots, and also hosting parties for the gatherings for the children. It takes a lot because I have a daughter. My daughter is in her 30s already, but I remember all the parties I hosted for her as well. It was fun, but it's also a lot of work. I don't know where she finds the energy, but good for you. So these are things that I look at her. I feel that she has made a great attempt to balance her life as she would advise her clients. She's also doing it for herself. So walking her talk was very important to her. So with that, thank you so much. And before I hand the mic over to Hadish, I have a little gift for her. So I will leave now for her to tell you a little bit more of her journey. Yeah, but I'll pass back to Hadish first. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Lynette. That was really a very inspiring story. And obviously, you've known Ames for a very long time, much longer than I think many of us here. Just a few housekeeping things. You will be able to buy the book. The folks at MPH are here, so you'll be able to buy the book at the end of the session today. And also, Ames will be able to autograph the books as well. So if you get it autographed today, it's free. If you don't get it autographed today, you have to go through me. And I'll charge a commission.
Because I might die and it's very valuable.
Yeah. And so what we're going to do next is I get to do something that very few people get to do with the outline. I get to interrogate Ames. So I'm going to call her up on stage, and we're going to have a bit of a conversation about the book, the idea behind the book, and also, we will get into some of the very personal stuff because I think that is what makes a good book, right? So fair warning. Yeah, is it okay? You can hear at the back, right? Okay. All right. Yes. Okay. Okay. James, please come up. Do you want to use this?
I don't know. Should I use this? Is it even on? Oh my god.
Hi. I could be too loud and he could be too soft. But I don't really have I'm recovering from cold and there's something wrong with my ears. So if I'm not talking to you when you're talking to me, I am not ignoring you. I'm just deaf. Okay? Right. Let me get that out of the way. You want to take this?
Okay. I think you hold it. I will just do my best to project. Okay. Let me just check. Chris, everything okay with the audio? Okay, we're also recording this, and I believe it's also live on Facebook,
Hi, MPH.
right? Is that
And
okay?
TikTok. Thank you so much for being here.
Okay, so let's get into it. Good afternoon again, everybody. So this is my one shot to have this conversation with Ames. And I have quite a number of questions. As I mentioned, it runs the gamut from the book itself to also some very personal stuff. You've mentioned I can go anywhere, so let's go there. Okay, but first of all, so as Lynette mentioned, this is the new book, and yes, it's a very colorful cover. But first of all, tell me about the title, In Outcome. What's the story behind the title?
You want the real horrible story or the sanitized version?
Let's not do sanitize today. Let's go all the way.
So I do stuff with my best friends, very close friends. And the person that I was working on the book with and I decided to part ways. And because of a F up of legal documents, I couldn't use the title that was already decided in my mind.
Can you tell us what the title was?
Wealth Supplements. And so, I love the title. I think maybe that's my next book. I don't know. We'll see. I even consulted a lawyer in Australia, and she's like, "You're gonna lose this one." So I had to think of another title. So I've always liked Malcolm Gladwell, and I love the one-word titles like Blink or Outliers, or even Susan Cain's really sensitive book called Quiet. The power of introverts in the world that can't stop talking. I think MPH, go buy the books, okay, people? These are fantastic books. And I wanted a book that's just one word. And I'm in personal finance, so I keep thinking of income makes your outcome, income, outcome. And why not I just short that and make it in outcome? And so the title of the book, because how you manage your income is going to greatly affect your financial outcome. There.
Okay, and my second question. I want to ask you about these cupcakes, but before that, we have this leaflet that's gone out to everybody. And I'm going to quote here. Emilia Hong reveals astonishing parallels between consuming cupcakes and balancing budgets. So tell us, what is this about these cupcakes and how does it relate to balancing budgets?
So, cupcakes are so cute, right? But they are full of calories. And they are, sorry, Starbucks, but they are empty calories. They make you happy, and you should consume them sometimes. But you eat too many of them, what's gonna blow up? Your waistline, right? Balancing budgets is also similar. Like you have money and you want to spend. This is something that you really like because spending for most people makes them happy. And if you keep spending, your bank account goes the opposite of your waistline, it disappears. It's non-existent. So there is some funny parallel between the cupcakes and your budgets.
Okay, so we'll definitely get more into like the lessons from the financial side, like budgets and all that. But before that, you're also here to launch your book. Um, Prior to me getting into this, joining FinAims, I didn't know that you were also a writer. So now
He joined me even though he doesn't know a thing about me.
Yes. So, but how did you actually decide to write a book? And number two, how did you figure out that you could write a book? I mean, did you go for classes? Did you go for writing exercises?
A long, sorry, I'm just cutting you.
Yeah.
Yeah. A long time ago, I followed a friend of mine from my MBA classes. She said, I want to learn to write a book. She said, okay, sure, I'll join you and we'll go and learn to write a book together. So there was this place in Bangsa called Silverfish Books. And Rahman hosted or facilitated writing courses. And so Wendy and I went. Wendy, thank you for listening. She's in Perth right now. We went, and in one of the last few classes, we were supposed to go out 3 hours and observe and write. So I went out and observed and I wrote, and we came back and we were supposed to read our work. When it came to my turn, I started reading, and you could see the horror on the faces of my fellow writers as well as Rahman. And then they were like, and I knew then I couldn't write fiction. So I couldn't write fiction, so maybe I could write non-fiction. And because I was, I think many years down the road after that, a friend just said to me, should we write a book? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And that idea just took hold. And many nights and days or weekends that I had to sacrifice to be away from everybody that I love to write. So I decided, since I can't do romantic novels, I should do serious stuff like personal finance.
And okay, so on that note, what is the one book that you've read that has sort of had a real huge impact on you, whether it's finance related or even or otherwise?
One? Can I do two?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
it's your event. You can do three.
Oh, this is a totally book. This is a book sale, not just my book, right? Two books featured prominently on my bedstand during the pandemic and throughout a couple of years actually. One is 12 Rules of Life by Jordan Peterson. It's this fat tome. It's really hard to read. And as you can tell from its name, it's about how to live a life, the life that you want, or the life that's going to be worthy of anything. One story particularly stood out, and it was about lobsters. So people love eating lobsters. I don't think you know much about them, but apparently they spend time in the seabed. And a male lobster would meet another male lobster, and when two men get together and they're fighting over territory, there's going to be some bad things going to happen. So a fight ensues, right? And what happens is, after the battle, the lobster that loses part of his brain. Did we know that? And then he lowers his stature. And he continues fighting because territories are always to be fought. And then he continues to lose part of his brain. At the end of many fights, he loses himself entirely or itself and dies. So what that teaches me, not just in the workplace, but in terms of personal finance, is that you don't ever put yourself in financial vulnerable situations, because one mistake could wipe you out. It will wipe you out slowly, but it'll wipe you out. And you think that because you're educated, you have backing, you have some kind of optimism bias or cognitive bias to your amazingness. I mean, everything I'm saying is about me, okay? And you think that things don't happen to you, but they do. And so when I think about that lobster, I want to make sure I don't get into those kind of situations. I try to make sure my clients don't get into these kind of situations. so that they don't become like that poor lobster losing part of his brain. Because every time you suffer defeat, your self-esteem falls. When that falls, a whole host of other things happens to you psychologically, your work, your family life, just your friends, everything. And this is not something people talk about because it's hard. It's very, very hard. Oh, okay. On the lighter side, the other book that sat on my table was What Do You See When You Slow Down by a Buddhist monk, Haenim Sunim. He is South Korean. He teaches at Berkeley in the US. That book, in contrast, is not thick. It's cute, it's pretty, it's got beautiful pictures and extremely short gem of verses. Very short. So interspersed with really tough stuff in life, and these light-hearted yet very meaningful things was what changed my outlook in life. I was hurtling in like 100 miles an hour, and I needed to slow down to appreciate certain things. And so these two books, I guess, shaped my life a lot. Thanks.
Okay, so I think you hinted there at, obviously everybody goes through personal challenges. Some people more than others, right? But I also found out that, let me make sure I get this right. You started Names in 2018. And if I recall correctly, this was about 8 months after you were diagnosed with cancer,
Yes.
right?
8 months after cancer, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I really want to try and understand that you were diagnosed with cancer. From what I understand, it was not a pleasant experience. I don't think it's a pleasant experience for anybody to go through something like that. But 8 months later, you set up this company and you are advising other people and helping them to create their wealth. What inspired you to set up Names, having just gone through such a, what I can imagine, such a terrible experience?
I also have to add, I launched my book at the same time. Uh, maybe take a spin from that. Over last week, one of my consultants took me out to my birthday lunch, and she asked me, "Hey, because of my condition, right? Do you have any bucket lists?" And I like, no, I've been there, done it all. And then I stop for a moment and I think that, no, Names is my bucket list. There is such a, when you look through life through the lens of death, a lot of things become very clear. Like, who matters to you and what things shouldn't matter anymore. So because of I'm in personal finance, I must take it to the next level. I need to create something. And I want to reach people in a way that's sensitive to them. Like, teaching people about money could be about ideas and facts. I think it's a lot about your feelings, your emotions. So, for example, if I'm going to just come up to you, and I don't want to name, should I name some names?
Go for it.
Maybe Alina, who's
Except
like
for me.
new.
Yeah,
And I say to you, you have to save 33% starting now, and maybe if you don't do it, you're gonna save 50% in 10 years. And the first thing you're gonna be thinking is like, she's crazy. She's crazy, and I can't do this. I'm not gonna give up my stuff. I'm not gonna give up my life. And that is a dislike to that idea. And when you dislike something, you won't do it. And when you won't do it, that derails everything. So I want to be able to tell my clients or tell people that from a sensitive way, like, you got to do this because, and it's more like you got to take care of yourself. I'm not the expert. You are the expert on who you are. I'm helping you to get to the goals that you want to get to. But your way, not my way. So Names embodies that. I really hope my team, they're very cute. They when back to the title of the cover of the book, my team said, "Oh no, we cannot have the cupcakes. It's too frivolous. We need to be really serious," because they are really serious about their clients and how their clients get to financial freedom or some financial goals. But you know, I had cancer, so I don't care. I think it should be lighthearted. I think people should stop and stare at the book and she's this woman crazy. Why do you put cupcakes? I want to put it on the bookshelf of where the cookery is and people pick it up by mistake and they don't go read it. So yes, there is some kind of correlation between falling ill and making this happen for me. Because if I should die, I've left a mark.
Okay, so I'm gonna push a little bit more. So as Lena mentioned, this is the difference, the thickness between the two books. And I realized in the first edition you don't talk about cancer,
Yeah.
and in the new edition you actually talk about it. Was it just difficult to talk about at that time? Why did you decide to really make it very personal this time with the latest?
When I first got cancer, I didn't tell my people at principal. Basically, I had this thinking, or even my clients, because I had this thinking. I had to tell my colleagues because obviously when I disappeared, they're like, "Where are you?" So few names people knew, of course, but I didn't want to tell my the people that I'm working with because I thought they might think I'm a bad bet. You know, why should I pay more attention to her? Because she's gonna die anyway. And my clients might go like, I'm not gonna invest with her. She's gonna die. So who's taking care of my money, right? So I wanted to keep it quiet for insecurity reasons. I was insecure. And the 5 years passed, and I did things that are different. I didn't do chemotherapy. I decided to take a path less taken. And I don't look like I have cancer. I've got plenty of hair, as you can tell. And I think I feel really energetic. So why am I telling this story now? Because I think there's a lot of power in pain. You can't really see my hands, but I remember Dato Narayan held my hands. And she said she's never seen such old hands or a person this age. I've got lots of veins. When I leave it long enough, it'll pop up in lots of veins and it really looks old. So I think in struggle and pain, there is triumph. And if my life can be an inspiration to some people and just to tell you that if you think you're in a shithole in finance, there's a way to dig out from there. Then I should be that for other people.
Okay, on that note, having gone through everything you've gone through over the past 5 or 6 years, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
I will slap my 20-year-old self. What do you know? I was a moron about money. And even though I had a very sick mother and I had to deal with a lot of finance stuff, I was still sheltered and stupid. I only knew how to do one of the equations, which was to save money. I didn't know how to invest. So there's two parts to taking care of your money. You need to save it first, which I was really good at because I was so terribly afraid. But I didn't know how to invest because I was so terribly afraid. There was no way I was going to risk my money, which meant I had to save a lot of money to get to the same finishing line with someone who has invested. I didn't know that. It took a long time to know that because I think people don't just talk about money that much. Who's going to want to tell, hey, I'm doing this? And no, it's all very private, right? Right? You might say you have this house and that house because that's visible, but you don't really share the mistakes that you made. You've only shared the good stuff that you made, but the learning from the mistakes, that's really important. So there was this interesting, what was it? Anyone know Mark Manson? I think he wrote this book, What the F or something. You all should check that out. I discovered him very, very early. I was reading his blog and he asked his above 35-year-old, many people, and asked them, what is the one advice you would give your young self? And I think there were 600 over replies. And he took days to go through those replies. And there was one thing that people kept on saying over and over again. And anybody want to guess? Somebody said, who said that? Well, they said that he said that they want to tell their younger self, you better start saving money. And those people don't, because maybe I'm talking too much. Do you want to like say something now? You know what we think about ourselves? We keep thinking that our salaries are going to go up in the same trajectory. It's going to keep going up. Oh, hell no.
Okay, related to that. So, as someone who advises people,
Yeah.
you manage money. By the way, I think I can. It's okay for me to reveal, right? You manage close to a billion ringgit, close to 250 million, quarter billion, right? Which it's nothing short of amazing. And you've obviously spoken to many people. What is the one thing you see in your own experience coming up over and over again in this conversation?
People don't like this when I say that. When we think very highly of ourselves and our abilities because of where we've struggled to come to. I think everyone in this room is privileged. You have food to eat. You're not hungry. You have shelter. And so you start thinking that my life will always be rosy. So you just ignore stuff. So back to Mark Manson. So you think that your salaries are going to keep going up, and so your spending keeps going up. If your boss gives you an increment 20%, are you going to stay in? Are you not going to spend at 20% for the next 5 years? I don't think anyone would not do that and deploy all that to their savings. They won't. They'll start spending. And then this will keep going, another 20, another 20, and 20. By the time you are 40, 50, then you get fired from your job. Or there's a shift in policy and you're redundant. And then how do you cope? I mean, I have a client who had this big issue. He decided to take a lesser paying job because the job was too much. He was taking a toll on so many things. And then, for some reason, probably didn't tell his partner why he wanted to do that. And then, as a woman who's depending on your man and thinking he's going to keep bringing in the money, it's like obviously very angry, right? Very angry. This is not part of the bargain. Then the man might say to the woman, I thought it's for better or for worse or for richer or poorer. Obviously, it's only for richer. And I'm not dissing women, huh? I'm not. I'm saying that women are wired for security. We are very wired. So some conversations to be made on the finance before you guys get married. And the question you should be asking yourself is, what financial insecurity is going to ruin our marriage or my life? Have that conversation early. Don't wait until you're committed. Because by the time you try to adjust, and that's the end of your relationship 10 years down the road. Oh, this is very heavy. What mistakes are people making? Oh, they think that they're going to have that. But what happens to us in our 30s, 20s to 30s, we have something called fluid intelligence. Those in engineering, your brain is incredible. You can create, you can work really hard, you slog. You have that great ability. That's why you climb. You hit 50, your brain starts to crystallize. Crystallize, is it good or not? But it means that now your mind shifts. It's more to take care of people, is to nurture them to the next growth. You're no longer able to ride and be so hard on your body because it's going to give way. But a lot of us don't realize this, and so we keep on wanting a higher salary. You're just putting stress on yourself, and you never manage your money. You're just dead. You couldn't step away from all this, and so you get sick. Maybe you get into issues with a lot of stuff. So These are things people don't realize and they make this kind of mistakes. And they don't start early enough. Because if you start early enough saving and investing, when you get to the age of 50 or 45 and something shit happens to you, you've got that nest egg. You've got something. You can walk away from another 10 years in there. You've got 10 years of money. Just go away. Or no, they stay with partners that continue to abuse them and torture them. Please don't do this. Please start very early. Because you can.
Okay, and on that note, before I open up to any questions from the floor, my last question to you: as a child, was Monopoly your favorite board game?
Well, I didn't have money to play Monopoly. We didn't even own this game. I played it very late in my life. I think I was shaped a lot by my childhood. If you read my book, my mother was sick since I was 6, and I had to take care of her. So I feel I knew life very early. So, yeah. No, I didn't play Monopoly.
We'll have a game in office.
Oh, well, we do have a board game. You should come play with us.
Yeah, I would like to open to the floor if you have any questions. I see Randall raising his hand. Any questions? Anyone?
Say at the floor. No?
Too scary, huh?
Who has a question? Someone has. Is it?
I would really like to thank Starbucks. My goodness, they are so cute, right? They don't do cupcakes generally. And I think they try so hard for us. Thank you so much, Starbucks, for also being part of this whole thing. I'm so thankful for Dato Sydney and for Luis for being here with us and the crew as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Amelia. Oh, Amelia is asking Amelia a question. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
But I wanted to ask, in terms of content, between the two books, what would you say
The main difference is now I'm not so nice. And the first book is a lot about ideas and facts. But this book, there's a lot of parts where I'm very harsh. And I talk frankly about what I go through. And sometimes if you read it, you might go, ooh, this woman is too much. Oh, by the way, I've been told I'm too much a lot. But I don't. Yeah. Yes, thank you for that question. But you should read. It's mostly in grey, the new stuff that I put in. Yeah.
Any more questions? We also have we also have a
Dato.
special gift that goes around. So Amelia, thank you very much. Yes,
I just
Dato.
want to know, following up from that question just now, are you going to have any more new books in the future?
My publisher, John. My publisher, John. Where is he? It just asked me. Really, you got to write a few more books. I don't know. Mainly because writing a book is really solitary. Means you got to go away. Going away means I have to ignore my clients. No, but my clients can be managed by my team as well. It's hard to write. It took 6 months to write a book and more than a year to edit. Yeah, and yeah, it's just, but I could. I'm not sure.
Thanks. Alina?
So now you've got your second win.
What?
Second win.
Second win of my life.
Yes. What's next? Moving forward.
Oh dear. I've also come to a space in my life where I think this sounds bad, but I'm amazed at where I am. It wasn't planned. I just did what I was given. I'm so terribly happy to still be alive. Yes, Kenji.
I just want to clear a confusion that I had.
Yeah.
First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
And I hear some people saying this is version 3. So is this the third book or the second?
This is the third edition of this book. So it's same book, but not so nice. Not so nice as in I'm not so well, like I said in the real, no more Mr. Nice Guy, even though I'm not a guy.
All right. Oh yes.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Lucas.
I'm sure you have a lot of so you just say that's one.
Sorry, can somebody
If there was something that you left out, something juicy that you left out, what would that be?
Oh yes, so
I'm sure there's a lot.
just now I said there's a lot. There's a lot. I think about this money thing a lot. So maybe a takeaway, maybe I could talk about next book is you go ask yourselves, those in relationships, or is what money insecurity do I have that's going to ruin our relationship? Have the conversation now, or maybe just ask that even with yourself. It's going to ruin your future life. If you're with the partner, this is a conversation you must have. Because when you're not aligned, you're not sharing the same vision and not having the same lifestyle, it's going to go down the drain. You might as well say goodbye. Don't even start. Yeah. Thanks, Lucas. Very hard.
Okay, and with that, I would like to now move on to the what we are really here for, which is to launch the book. Sharon, I think we have something planned. Right. Okay, just give us 10 seconds to set it up.
Actually, I don't know what's going on, Anna. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, my face. Cringe. Okay. And then, what happens now?
Hold on, hold on.
Oh, I'd like to thank Min for designing this and to pander to all my whims. I keep changing. And if you can see the previous one, it's green, right, and plain. And I just told Min I wanted all crazy stuff. He just allowed me to have this. Yeah. Oh,
Okay, so we're going to ask you to autograph the cover.
tak ada music ah, tak ada ah. Okay, wait. Tak boleh buka je kak. Apa ni? Okay. Oh, so just like this, right?
Yep, so just autograph the cover and wait, hold on. Okay, make sure
stand here. The sign. Okay, right sign.
on 3, right? Okay, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. So please feel free to mingle. James will be
more
here.
drinks
Have
and
more coffee, especially. Please buy the book. MPH is here.
$49.90. There's a 15% discount. And then I will sign so that maybe you can sell it for lots of money later. Investment. You should buy some coffee from me. Investment
All right.
in your book.